Okay, so let me just finish up talking about my buddy here a little bit by bringing up my letters here again. Bread and soup. Bread. There we go. Bread and soup. Bread. To make bread, you need to follow a recipe. You need to go step by step. You need to measure all the ingredients exactly. If you put in 3 times as much salt, your bread is not going to taste good. If you put in twice as much flour or half as much yeast, anything, any adjustment to the recipe can upset the bread. And the product that you get may be bread-like, but it's not bread. It's not what you really set out to make in the beginning. Soup's different. Soup has recipes, but soup you can adjust. Soup you can add a little bit extra. If somebody likes a little more garlic, you give it a little more garlic. They don't like carrots, we leave the carrots out. Maybe they don't need the carrots. There's a difference between baking and cooking. To me, fundamentals say the Wilson whole class approach is baking. Day 1, lesson 1, the entire class is doing it. There is a structured plan. Day 2, day 60, etc. That's baking. Cooking is what Wilson Reading System is. Cooking is tailoring the program, following that recipe, but tailoring it to the specific need of the child. If the child's fluent in some areas, but has trouble with encoding or decoding, you can stress those things more. And that's why the Wilson people really work hard with their instructors to make sure that they understand the system fully, because they know how much work it's going to take to individually tailor programs to each child. All right. So, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have just 3 kind of real-world examples of Wilson in action. I've talked about my guy a little bit. I call him Knucklehead number 1. That's just between me and you and my family when I tell stories about him at home, because he is a knucklehead. He's the cutest kid in the world, total knucklehead, and he's made a lot of progress in all areas, socially, etc. But Wilson, I watched this kid in a Wilson lesson just this week, and he was amazing. He's really getting it, and his reading is coming along. He volunteers when we are in the whole class environment now. He volunteers to read out loud. Never used to do that. And he's successful. He's successful at it. So I don't think he feels like he's standing out as much as he used to. Like when kids in 2nd grade would kind of make fun of him because he couldn't keep up and he couldn't, he didn't have even the basic skills that they did. So he's come a long way. The second kid, my wife, 3 or 4 years ago, became a certified instructor of the visually impaired, TVI, a teacher of the visually impaired, TVI, there you go. And her student last year, when she was in the 3rd grade, used Wilson. Totally visually impaired. I don't have any of it with me. Her letters are all Braille. She's also dyslexic. I may have mentioned her in class at one point during the year. And that was astounding to me, that somebody who couldn't see could still be dyslexic. It just clued me in that dyslexia is more neurological than visual. I always just assumed it was some trick of the eye that didn't allow people to see what was on the page. You know, the mixing up of the B and the D, etc. That everybody kind of associates with dyslexia. So my wife had great success in working with an instructor who was certified Wilson, who also kind of helped Kim to work with this student so that she could actually start to do it independently as well. So Kim would make up lesson plans, and when the lesson plan was established, she would then have to figure out how to make it appropriate for somebody who's visually impaired. Now, the last thing in my research around the web, I found, I'm not going to play all of this. You can check it out if you want. I thought that this was really neat. This is a woman who's posted.
Here's a question for you.
Oh, let me see if I can.
US home replaced one light bulb with a compact fluorescent bulb.
We'll skip over that.
Good afternoon. This is Miss Tracy from K-12 Next Generation. And this evening I'm going to do the first lesson in our Wilson reading. I do this lesson with my students in Africa, and I'm putting it up on the YouTube video so that they can use it to refer back to, and also
This is amazing.
to use it as well.
15 years ago, we wouldn't have thought about the possibility of doing this.
Like.
Now, the one thing that I think
the orange or the brown
is too bad in this video is that it's so close up, it actually blocks her mouth when she's trying to instruct on the letter sounds.
I'm only going to deal with.
And I think it's really important for the kid to actually see your mouth shape when you're trying to first instruct them on the sounds.
The letter. We have a keyword that helps us with that.
So we'll just watch just a few more seconds of this.
So, in this first one, we have an A, apple, and the sound is A. So, when I point to this, we say A, apple, A.
Okay.
A, apple,
And she goes through each of the short vowel sounds.
A,
But again,
apple,
you know,
A.
you can't see my mouth shape if I talk with my hand covering my mouth.
We have our E.
But it's amazing that she's posting these videos so that a school in Africa can actually use Wilson to help them learn English.
Eddie.
Amazing. All right, so let me,
Again.
hold on one second.
E, Eddie, A.
Oh, shut her down.
I, itchy, it.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, and she also uses a picture of Eddie Murphy for Ed. So maybe kids in Africa know who Eddie Murphy is. They might. They probably do. Oh. Okay, so that was... Okay, so let's just talk quickly about the pros and cons. I know my time's almost up. It's probably up already. The pros, it covers all areas of reading fundamentals. Phonemic awareness, phonics, decoding and encoding, vocabulary, and comprehension fluency. It's well supported with 5 mandatory observations during training. And it is fast-paced to keep the student's attention. I think those 3 things are critical. Hits all the areas, well supported and structured, and keeps kids engaged. You know, my guy, he has a little checkboard next to him, and everything he does, he checks it off and they move on. And they're 2 and 3 minute little bursts of skills, and it's fantastic. So what are the cons? Well, because of the individualized needs of each student who's using Wilson reading system, you really don't have a lesson plan. You'll have a lesson format. This is the structure of the lesson, but you're not going to have a lesson plan. Hey, Monday, week 1, this is what you do. Tuesday, week 1, this is what you do. And the reason, as I've been talking about, throughout the presentation, is that kids learn at different levels, and tier 3 kids are in such need that you have to meet each kid where they are. And for one kid, it's going to be one thing. For another kid, it's going to be another. The teacher that I work with, the reading specialists that I work with, She has 10 different kids that she works with. She has 10 different binders, and she pulls the one out for each child, and she knows exactly where they are, but she's structuring 10 different lesson plans. So, instructors have to be highly motivated. Now, what I have found for most of the cons during my online research, most of the cons center around unmotivated teachers. You know, if you like just flipping through the book, this is not the reading system for you. You are not going to have success. Your kids aren't going to have success. So the cons are more, they're only cons if you're not motivated to do the system. So that's it. I mean, I can see that I actually probably went a little bit over time. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the class, and have a great holiday. Thanks.